Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome to the show, have a seat, my nigga, recline back. Real niggas making a speech, so acknowledge that I never turn.
Welcome to the Acquired Taste Media Podcast. You know who it is. That's what we cash cow. And I'm here with my two Nubian goddesses, my professional podcasters, my Nubian queens,
Yes.
my sisters.
Fight the power.
Fight the power. You know who I got to my left? I have the big doula.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, original Indigo Empress.
Empress, how y'all doing on today? I hope y'all doing well. Love and light.
Love and light.
Yes.
Yep. And speaking of love and light,
That's right.
we have
Love and lights.
our girl here. How are you doing, love and light?
Good. Miss New
Miss
Day
New
in the
Day.
heels. Doing good. Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for
Great.
asking. I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's get to it. So, you was just having on some Cam Newton stuff, right? Did y'all see it? It was Dr. Cheyenne something. It's a young black lady. She's a doctor.
Yeah.
And she's been going around. She was just on Nick Cannon's podcast talking about, I believe, the same thing. And then she was also on Cam Newton's podcast. And then recently she's been on The Breakfast Club.
Uh-huh.
And the post that we just was looking at was the one where she was talking about they asked her what's her definition of a high value man? What does a high value man mean to her? And we got some different answers from both of you guys. So we'll start off with Miss New Day. So you said that high value. What does high value mean to you?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said because that value means your pockets, what you got to bring to the table. So when it comes to that, are women looking for value or are they looking for a companion? You can't just be looking at somebody's pockets and thinking that everything is going to be peaches and gold because you might not be compatible with that person just because they have a lot of money. Money is not everything, so it's good to know that difference and to know what you want.
Money is not everything. What about you, Dola? Big Dola?
Yeah.
Turn my phone.
I definitely, and for me, it comes down to what you value, right? Of course, the word value itself, we automatically gonna think of monetary, or we're gonna think of material-wise. But value goes a long way because you can have all of that stuff and you can be miserable, right? For me, I would say, of course, you want to get with someone who's striving to have certain things, You don't want to get with nobody that's broke and going to bring you down, and their lack of motivation or drive or in their complacency. So, yes, there is a certain portion because that's where we live at in society where, the effort to get things or get to a space in life where you obtain certain things in order for the well-being of everybody around you. It's very important. And I don't think, I'm more of, it don't have to be rich, but it should be in abundance enough to sustain your livelihood. You know what I'm saying? If it's rich, fine. If it's wealthy, that's great. But I'm not going to judge a man that's, building, from the bottom up because I'm not one to despise small beginnings. You see what I'm saying? So I think that the value for me is more of that man's mindset. What is it that his goals, his aspirations, and is he actually working towards those aspirations? That for me is more valuable than having material and monetary gain.
Well, you did say monetary in there, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There is, and that's just it. It's about striving towards it. And it totally depends on where you at in life, right?
Right, absolutely.
At my big age of 46, I'm not going to grab nobody that's riding the bus. Like, why don't you have a car right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just a prime example. But maybe somebody younger will be like, like, hey, let's build together. You know what I'm saying? And I
So
think
you're not gonna fuck with no bus riders? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not.
You're not?
I have my own car.
Are you
at this point in
discriminating
my
against
life.
bus riders?
I feel like I want my man to be able to pick me up, and that's my preference.
Unless
you
your
know what
car
I'm
is
saying?
shop.
She discriminating.
No, it's a preference for me, and we all have a right to preferences. You know what I'm saying? That goes back to what
How you don't know
we
that
spoke about.
man on the bus? How do you know he ain't rich? He could just be rich. He just like to ride the bus. That's how he stay rich. You know what I'm saying? He save his money. He don't got no car. He don't got to pay for no gas or nothing like that.
Hey, that
You gotta get to know him first, though.
Oh, of course.
But you ain't gonna get to know him unless if you see him get off the bus.
It wasn't
If
like
he see you and he like, "What's up, Risha?" You gonna be like, "Nigga, you just got off the bus."
I give everybody the chance first.
Whatever.
I'm gonna figure out what you talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
if I like you, if I physical, because physical is
So if you're attractive, I might.
If you're attractive, I might be like, let me see what you talking about.
Nah.
And you know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
cap.
that's cap. You ain't gonna tell me. You gonna tell me that I ain't gonna give the man a chance. No. If I run across a man, you know, I don't know how we gonna do it because I'm gonna be rolling past him. But if I'm walking, let's say I'm walking out the store, something
there you go, walking out the store, see?
right? And he like, what's good? And I'm like, hey, how are you? You know, I'm not the person immediately gonna judge you. I'm gonna give you a chance. You know what I'm saying? I can assure you, and any of the men who I've talked to, I've given them a chance before I was like,
No bus stops.
no, thank you. Yeah, and I think we all have a right to our preferences. You do. Just like that, go back to the whole physical thing, right? You gonna date a fat woman or somebody that's not physically attracted to you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she could be fat or whatever. She has to be physically attractive to me.
Right.
So, not saying a fat woman can't be physically attracted to me, but you know, as long as she's physically attracted to me. So.
Right. So that's just it. It's just a preference. It says a lot for where a person is, and then you also have to think that what did your life do to get you where you are? You know, so it's not something that you can just wrap and put a pretty bow on. It's everybody had their different paths and different situations that bring them to where they at the present time.
I completely agree.
Okay, cool.
Different approaches. But then it's a small grade of men that do have value and they have values for themselves. Like they could have that too. They could be successful and also have values and really want a good woman. They don't just want just a woman after their pockets.
Yeah.
So that's just like coming to America. Like he was a prince, but he worked at McDonald's to show like I want to be normal, but I have money, but that's not what I'm looking for. So it was a big premise with that whole movie. Even though he had a lot of value, he was looking for a woman with values. He wasn't just looking for anybody to marry. So that movie was a good example of.
Yes, it was.
I don't know what made me think of it, but it was a good.
Coming to America, for example, coming to America.
Yes, that's a good example
yes,
of it.
Yeah, that's a very good example.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
One of my favorites.
Still no, I don't think he got an Oscar yet though. But anyways, yeah. So
I don't think so either.
I mean, once again, I've always I think when it comes to men and women, of course, we value different things. And I heard Dave Chappelle say this one time, and I feel like there's a lot of truth to it. He was like, a woman's life and a woman's goal in life, or at least most women, not all women, but most women's goals in life are materialistic, are materials, having nice things, having a lot of things. A man's goal in life, or at least most men's goal in life, is a woman. And the example he used was, if I could have sex with a woman in a cardboard box, I wouldn't need a nice house. You know what I'm saying? If I could, get a good woman, riding a bus, then I wouldn't have a car. You know what I'm saying? So I think, when it comes to men, we don't look at monetary for real. I don't think monetary really, we do, but we don't, because once again, and I think we've discussed this before, not saying a big doula won't do it, but most women aren't going to talk to a man, you know, working the fry station at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Whereas a man will see an attractive woman and we don't give a fuck what she's doing. She could be working the fry station. She could be flipping burgers. We'll be like, hey, what's up? Let me get your number. What you doing? How you get home? You got a ride? Shit, I'll come pick you up when you get off. What time? 12? Damn, 1 o'clock. You close this bitch, huh?
Wow.
But no, I'm just. That's an example.
Yeah.
A man will do that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas we don't. You know. We don't care about the monetary. We're more like we could take care of that. You know what I'm saying? The monetary isn't important, but what is important is, like you said, and like what was in Coming to America, is, you know, her values, her morals. You know what I'm saying? What she stands on, things of that nature. How can she make me better? You know what I mean? So I think.
And she was like, offended when she found out he was so rich. Mm-hmm. You know, she didn't want people to think that that's what she was after. Mm-hmm. You know, and I thought that was a good premise in that movie too. Like she wasn't like her little sister.
Shallow.
You know, very shallow. As soon as she found out he was rich, she was all up on him like. That was backstabbing on her.
And the father too. The father was encouraging it.
Yeah. Like that's not cool. And that's not what she was looking for. She was never materialistic like that, you know? And I think a lot of women aren't. It's just their upbringing. A lot of them don't have and they want, and they see it on television, they see it on Instagram, Facebook. All these women living these lavish lives with these implants and fake hair and fake boobies and butts and lips and all that, and they want it. You know what I'm saying? It's not showing just natural beauty. It's not showing how you can get that yourself without having to go chase a man or sell your soul or do anything that will lessen your character. You don't have to do all that. But society wants these women to be all fixated on value versus really looking for somebody to spend the rest of their life with that's going to respect them and love them and not cheat on them or beat on them or, you know, play mind games and all this, you know? Like, and I think men want the same thing too, is their upbringing, how they were raised, you know, all that plays a part of how people act today. And until people wake up and be like, hey, I'm not going to be how my past was or what I seen in my past, I'm going to be me and be different. It's a lot of robots. People are so mind controlled with looking good and being popular and all this nonsense, you know. That's what makes our world so divided too. So,
yeah, you mentioned. Did you say Dave Chappelle was talking about that? Mm-hmm. I think, and that's kind of when you said it, it struck me like that's kind of unfortunate because men should live for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And women too. Like men should not just seek to get a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Seek to satisfy yourself, and you'll automatically attract the right woman. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't. I understand what you're saying, but once again, it's you don't automatically. I understand what you're saying, and yes, we should all love ourselves first, of course. But once I'm done loving myself, I'm looking for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got love for myself. You know what I'm saying? It's not about me sitting around waiting for a woman to come to me. I'm going to go, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to look for a woman so I can procreate, so I can have kids with, things of that nature.
I get that.
So, no, I think men's mentality, because that's even our mentality as well, to procreate. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're here to unfortunately, you know, well, not unfortunately, but, you know, the fathers that ain't taking care of their seeds. But, you know, we out here spreading seeds and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even seen somebody say, it was a black guy debating with a chick, and he was saying something about the fact that a man, you know, I have sex with you, I orgasm, whatever, you get pregnant, you can't have a bunch of babies in 9 months. Like, you only can have that one baby. While within 9 months, I can still make more kids. So he was just kind of saying how that's like, I ain't gonna say that he was saying that's their role, but he was just kind of saying how it's different when it comes to men getting out here and having sex when it's compared to a woman getting out here and having sex, where we can make the baby as well, but you're the one who have to carry it for 9 months, and you can't. And even if a man comes in you a bunch of different times, now you're gonna have a bunch of different babies. You still totally have it.
That's why y'all should have birth control.
You still have it one baby, okay? And once again, nobody said I never got birth control. I just said I'm not one for it. But, you know,
I would be upset
other
if I
people
was
can
like,
do it.
if we were like to reproduce like cats. You know, like how That'd be horrible.
That would be
like
terrible.
A cat can have
I don't
sex
know nothing
with
about cats.
a cat can have sex with multiple cats in that day and get pregnant by all of the men she has sex with and have it in one litter.
What?
Swear to God. They can have, that's why the cats come out looking different. Y'all never noticed
I
that?
don't fuck with cats. So no, I've never.
A litter that she can have all different baby daddies with all the babies in one litter.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I never knew
That's
that.
weird.
Horrible. That's horrible for any female on this planet, animal or human, to have to endure. That's horrible.
I feel
But
like
that's not horrible for them. She's a cat. I mean, I think
but
that's what
okay,
they
Still have feelings and
they're
emotions.
built for that.
No,
It's
but
still
that's
crazy,
that's
though.
just how they were created.
Right.
But I think that she's like, that's horrible.
They run around
She was
salty and
comparing
shit,
it to the human.
Like the human. I don't think cats live like you.
Yeah.
Like you said, she just ran around and fucked like 6 niggas in one day and didn't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cats, they have a different way of living. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you know what? I feel
Bitches
like
got 9 lives. You know what I'm
you're
saying?
stupid.
I don't even think that's true.
I feel like I heard of a story though of a woman who had messed around with a man on the same day and got pregnant, and the baby had both of their DNA. I'm gonna look and see if I can.
I can understand that if she had, but it still was only
people
one.
that's had twins. They have 2 different fathers.
Yeah,
that happens.
That happens.
Oh, no, I've never seen that.
It's rare, but
yeah,
it
it's very rare. It is rare. But I think so. Going back to what you were saying, you know, it's kind of like, if that's your goal, like, you know, as a man, and I'm not a man, of course, but I could just speak for myself and say that I would be more inclined to be like, oh, I want to get this success for me, right? Because you were talking about like, oh, if I don't have a car, you know, I have a car because I want to pick up a woman. You know what I'm saying? But you need the car for you first.
Right, but
that's not the goal.
No, I could drive a smug back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I drive a nice car.
And then it goes back to the woman.
Exactly. That's the thing.
So, but why
I
does a
can
man
live in
want
a-
a materialistic woman then? Like,
It's
y'all
not-
set yourself up for failure.
Once again, it's not about. That's not every woman that sees that as a nice car is not a materialistic woman. Certain cars are looked at as certain status. So it's not even about materials. It's about how this man holds himself, how this man carries himself. Some women are going to be like, oh, look at what he got. Oh yeah, he might have some money. But some women are going to look at it like, okay, he looks like he may have some status, he may have some structure, he may have some discipline about himself because he's able to afford or drive something like that.
Nice
You know what I'm
car.
saying? So it's not just about the materialistic woman, but I've been in different positions. I've drove smugs and shit like that. I'm gonna break it all the way down to not just women, but police too. You understand? Like, you drive a nicer car, then you're less likely to get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? You just are. And I know that for a fact because I've drove smugs and I've drove nicer cars. When I drove my smug, I was getting pulled over for just for driving while black. You know? So they hit me because they like, he ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? So I could get him a ticket. He ain't, you know, he probably gonna skip out on it. We gonna have a warrant. We gonna have a bunch. We gonna get his ass for about $500-600.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Terrible.
But once you get into a certain status, or you start looking a certain way, then once again they don't look at you the same. They look at you a little different. Oh, he taking care of his shit. He probably got some discipline about himself.
Yeah.
You know what? He could be a lawyer. He could be a doctor. He could be, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, unfortunately, that's how the world turns. And it's not just women. Shit, it's police too. You know what I'm saying?
It is definitely
It's
a consumer
perception.
Yes, a perception.
That's why it's
consumerism perception.
Yes, perception.
It is unfortunate because a lot of us, I can even speak for myself, like you said, you've been in those positions where you've driven a beater, you know what I'm saying, or something, you know what I'm saying, and immediately somebody gonna judge you by what it is that you have, but not the content of your character, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
No, that as well.
That's
Yeah,
very
that too.
true. That's very unfortunate, but that is the society, right? That we live in.
Well, it's interesting we talk about police because today I'm in cosmetology school, as everyone knows, Carrollton Barber Cosmetology School. And today Mr. Rice he's the owner, he brought in some of the new recruits. That's like in police academy, you might as well say. So we had a building full of new recruits, and it was a discussion, you know, like how we can bridge the gap with the community and how we really don't not really don't, but how we can not be afraid when we get pulled over or when we see a police officer, because it's a fear. You know, a lot of us don't want to die. Everybody want to go home. You know, and it's been a lot of racial discrimination all over the world when it comes to police officer.
Oh, we'll
and
get into that for sure.
We it was a really good discussion, you know, and we had questions that we was asking the new recruits, and they were just reassuring us, like
the new recruits, meaning the new recruit police.
Yes,
okay.
Like the ones that's like in police.
Were they black?
It was a mixture.
How many black ones was it?
It was a nice amount. I was surprised. It was more white than black, but it still was more black than I thought it would be. I was surprised. It was we had at least 50 cops in the school today, and 20 of them was black, I would say. But just to hear the remarks that they were saying, like, it was a different type of conversation. We was asking real questions, like, how do we not be scared when y'all pull us over? How do we know that we're gonna go home to our families at night? Like, how can y'all ensure that we as a people are gonna be safe? You know what I'm saying? So
So what did they say?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, I'm waiting for that answer.
I'm asking what was said first, and then I'm going to respond with their answers. And a lot of them were saying that they're going to do a lot of things differently than what a lot of the older police officers was doing that's in the force. They're not in the force anymore. So now they have a lot of younger recruits, and they have a totally different curriculum. That word's always been a tongue teaser. That is based upon how you treat people. Just common respect. Like, you're human and I'm human. Let's both go home safe. Let's make this a safe. Okay, I'm pulling you over because you speeded. You know you were speeding. Let me give you this ticket. Now you go about your way, I go home. Like, it don't have to be anything extra. So they were just ensuring us that they're really trying to change things in Cleveland. They're really trying to make us feel safer and not like they out to get us. And it was a good conversation. I really appreciated it.
Look at Alan's face. He like, whatever. I don't agree.
Alan is like,
right. He's like, out of 50. He's like, out of 50 cops, there's only 20 black people. What you gotta think about
it? And out of them 20, 10 of them was house niggas.
Oh my gosh, you're so
believe it. If not 20 of them being house niggas.
You're optimistic.
My cousin's a cop. Okay, so I already know how these niggas work and how they talk and shit. He black and. You know,
but they weren't cops yet. They're still in camp. There's training.
Right, so that means right.
So it was a different conversation. It wasn't the same. Oh yeah, we hear what you're saying.
No, and I'm saying that's great, but until they get in
genuineness behind their words, like they're really trying to make a change. They're trying to be different from what all these other cops have left a bad trail with. They're trying to make a new, and I get that. Like, you can't change the past. You can only move towards to a better future, and that's what they're trying to do. And I respected that from them, you know. If you're at least saying it, let's see if you're actually going to do it.
That's it. That's all I'm saying. Actually speak out in the words. So you can talk till you blue in the face. When them white cops get on the motherfucking street and they get to shooting and killing niggas, then bring that shit back up. Hey, remember when you came to Carrollton and y'all said y'all was gonna treat us like with respect and like whatever. That's when the fuck you back, right? Because I actually speak out of the words, and the actions from white cops hasn't been the same. Now, I honestly haven't dealt with too many black cops. Most of the fucking cops I see in the hood are white. And right now, I just made a post about it earlier this week. I've been seeing more cops in the hood for some fucking reason. Don't know why. I don't know if it's because this deportation shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But when I look, they're white. So I don't know where the black cops are at, unless they in the projects or some shit. But up our way, all the cops I've been seeing have been white. So I'm not saying that these new recruits aren't going to come along and make a change, but baby, the Ku Klux Klan, the police have been the same for the longest, and I don't see it changing no time soon.
Yeah, the foundation of it.
Until that's what it is. Until you break down the foundation.
Yeah.
I don't see it changing.
That's what they said. That's the questions we was asking. We like, it doesn't just y'all saying all this. But what's starting at the foundation? Like, is it at the top that's getting this new information down? Like, is everybody on the board with this, or is it just something that they're just trying to put in play because of everything that's going on? They're like, no, this is something that's from the top of the Cleveland Department of Police, whatever it is. They're really trying to make a new. So I'm saying optimistic.
They just got some community service hours.
And you're right when it comes to the foundation of why the police were created, right? That has to be changed. There has to be new people coming in that don't abide or don't subscribe to that type of approach. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for me, I'm with Asian that the pendulum has been on the bad side for so long. That motherfucker got to swing to the good side eventually. And as long as we continue to perpetuate or continue to be stuck in, oh, this happened, that happened, it's almost like we just got to give things a chance and see which way it's going to go. Is it going to be, you know what I'm saying? Is it going to be the space? And I mean, you know, we kind of talked about that, just kind of watching. But having a more positive perspective. Like, we are so just, everything is wrong, everything is bad, everything is, how can we grow? How can we evolve? How can we actually get the things that we desire if we're constantly just thinking, or, you know what I'm saying, or just, oh, it's never going to change? There has to be some change, some type of way.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we'll know it's changing when we see the change. And once again, like you say, defunding the police was probably one of the biggest movements that they could have made. I mean, in my opinion, we need to be policing ourselves. What's wrong with us policing our own communities?
Because I'm going to tell you this, and like you said, the black people, I totally agree with that. I'm glad you said that because I had that point in my mind. But I feel like the police should be policing their own communities. If you stay in Willowwick, you a cop, police that community. Why you coming to the hood?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And policing stuff, you know what I'm saying? You don't know your neighbors and stuff like that. So policing
you don't know
should
black
be
people at all.
Right. Policing should be
people.
a community thing. If wherever your cousin live, he should be policing that area. You know what I'm saying? Black people should be policing their people.
He used to work for Cleveland. They just moved to Twinsburg, and he got a job in Macedon.
Oh, see, he with the white folks.
Right, but he's policing his own area. He ain't down in the hood no more. He like, shit, I'm in Twinsburg now. Fuck, why the fuck I be policing down there for? Shit, I'm out here. I'm a police out here where I live at. Make sure my shit's safe. You know what I'm saying? So like you kind of said, police your own shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, once again, like I say, if these young cops get back in the game and they, you know, start making these changes, but I just don't see it because it's never been done before. Now, you know, once again, for them to come out to you guys at school and do all that good stuff, that's all a positive step in a positive direction. But once again, in my opinion, we should be policing our own, because first and foremost, and everybody says, we all know this shit, police don't stop crimes. Now, police presence will stop a crime, but police itself, if somebody want to rob somebody or kill somebody, do something, they gonna do it. Then you call the
police. They ain't there to help you at the moment.
The shit is over with. You dead, or you shot, or you gotta wait for the police to come. So if you policing your own community, at least you're there when the shit is. You might know what's about to go on before it even happens. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come tell you, hey, Mr. Rogers over there, you talking crazy to his wife again, man. I think it's about to get out of control. All right, let me go over here and see what Mr. Roberts, this nigga tripping again. You know what I'm saying? If you know the community, maybe you can diffuse the situation before it becomes a crime. You know what I'm saying? But with the police we have, with policing now, it's just kind of a bad system. Like I said, they get there when the crime is over. Right.
Yeah. Like
somebody's in my house.
Police is not protecting
By the time
you.
I call them and tell somebody in my house, nigga, the police ain't gonna be there. The police like, all right, well, what's the address? What's this? What's that? Nigga? Let me call Jerome in the neighborhood watch who stay a block away. When I call that nigga, he gonna be right outside. Like, bitch, get out the house with the gat. Like. What's going on, nigga? Get out the house, nigga. You put that shit down. Yeah, I got you, Jerome. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So I think that's what it should be.
Illusion.
We should be policing our own communities.
Yeah, no, that's facts though. It's the illusion of protection for real when you think about it. Yeah. Because protect yourself. Get your license, get your gun. Well, you don't need license in Ohio, but get your own stuff, and then you call them and let them know what happened. Because that's really what happens anyway. You call them, they ain't just on the spot every time. So yeah, you are absolutely right. I totally agree with that. Just policing your own home and your community that's what it should come down to.
That's what we're gonna have to start doing anyway. Yeah. But like I stated, I do hope that these young cadets do the right thing and they're not caught up in any controversy or any bullshit, because we done seen a lot of crazy shit in Cleveland when it comes to these police officers. and Akron. They be out there acting a fool too. So yeah. So anyways, what else do we have? We had we talked about Cam Newton and the old girl.
Well, did y'all
had a topic?
Well, I just wanted to say that did y'all know that very recently somebody, I think it was some comedian, and I can't, Earthquake or somebody, I can't remember who it was exactly, but he said that she wasn't a doctor.
Oh.
Yeah,
I heard that too, but I don't,
I think it's just weird that people try to invalidate people because, I don't know, maybe she said something that struck a nerve to him, But at the end of the day, that goes back to how I feel about having to get all of these credentials that this system set up for us when we have a God-given talent, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta go pay in order to validate
your
what you do.
Talent.
Yo, God, that's crazy. Like that's a weird. It's a weird system to me. I hate it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like because a lot of things that whether we are counseling people, like I can just speak for myself. I don't have a master's degree in counseling. However, I'm doing this regularly with, any doula client I'm dealing with, I'm counseling her. I'm providing stuff to make her anxiety go away. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing these things, but because I didn't go to your school, you know what I'm saying, and I didn't pay all this money to get your piece of paper that said, oh, okay, we recognize that it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And so now I can't get the monetary gain that I need from it, or I desire from it. Not I mean, but more of a desire from it. Yeah. Because I got to go through y'all to validate what I do out of passion, out of just because that's what I do, because it happens naturally. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of goes to, and I didn't want to touch on this subject because I'm over the whole election thing, but I did just run across a video today about Trump talking about the Board of Education in the colleges, and he was just saying how, we're going to make sure, well, he said some good points. He was talking about how he was going to raise civil lawsuits against certain colleges who were not accepting black people into them. These Ivy League schools, you know what I'm saying, that the black people is like slim to none. You'll find a couple of pieces of pepper inside of a whole bunch of salt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen that post.
Yeah, he's saying that, but the thing that I did not like, but he's like, oh, we're gonna raise them, make sure they have jobs to work in America, and it's like, ain't nobody gonna teach nobody entrepreneurship.
Well, no. Did you see when he talked about that? He said they're gonna teach the children everything but history.
But history.
He said everything but history.
Yeah, he said
this,
stuff that. But when you think
no
about
social
it, do you
studies,
really need that
no history.
in this society? Do you need, as far as working, as far as
to be a robot? No, you don't need it.
Exactly.
But if you want to be a free thinking human being, then yes, it will be something that you would want and something that you would need. And I do think that is something that you would need, because if you're teaching children are going to eventually ask about the fucking past.
That's
like it's going to come up. Like, hey, what happened with this, that, and this? Yeah. Oh, don't worry about that. Just keep reading.
Wait a minute. You already know how I feel about that. The onus is on the household when it comes to history. It
is going to be on the household now.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have been on the household, because see, the reason it shouldn't be on the household, and this is the same reason why I feel like there's a discrepancy with homeschooling. It's because there's no way to measure how much education and how much information a person has. So therefore, when it comes to saying that our children are on the same level, like you could be teaching your children something out of a book that says 4th grade math. I could be teaching my children something off the internet that says 4th grade math. When our children sit down and take a test, my child may be worse off than your child. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. But we would never know that. I would never know that, because we're not gauging our children anymore. It's more like, well, this is what I taught you. You know enough. Okay, well, keep it going. Well, what is the base? What is the enough? What is the standard?
Oh no! So I know people who homeschool their kids, and they have to still take the same.
But see, I don't think that would have that anymore if this nigga takes away everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, now there's a standard. Yeah, there's a standard now.
Like,
but I'm saying before.
Yeah, you have to still.
Yeah, you have to stay in the standard.
They still have, and like, actually, the client that I just left, her son, she homeschools her son, and so, you know, she's been doing it for years now, and so, you know, they have the tests. They still have the tests. I don't know if that's going to change at all.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it would change.
Okay.
I think that if Trump takes away the Department of Education, I think that's something under the Department of Education. The way to standardize tests, or the way to make sure that everybody's on the same level, or everybody's getting the proper education. If he strips all that shit, then he's already saying he's firing everybody. It's only going to be like 2 people in the building. Like, nigga, who fuck everybody? Nigga, the state do what y'all want to do with the shit. So once again, we will see. Yeah. And like you stated, it's still on the parent to teach their children what they want their children to know. And yes, if your children ask questions, then you have to answer those questions. But in my same opinion, I would think that a teacher, if a child asks a question, the teacher would be like, want to answer those questions as well. Not be like, ask your mama when you get home. Like, what?
That sucks. That really does suck for history teachers, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Ask your mama.
What?
The history teacher's gonna be jacked up, though. That's crazy. Like, they spent their, you know what I'm saying, lives just studying history.
Okay.
And now, like, they're gonna have to find something else to do. Like, damn, like, you
it's
might
gonna be
go into some.
Well, I was thinking though, shit, that's gonna be an outlet for individuals to make money. Shit, I got my Black History, not school, but Black History class.
That's an entrepreneurship,
right?
Type of
I got
thing.
my Black History. So if you want your kid to know about Black History, you come to my class. I teach him about Black History, and when he's done, he'll get this little certificate that says he completed my Black History class.
Look at you.
I'm just saying that's what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? And then they get a little certificate. They know, like I did Al's Black History class.
Hey, no, that's real. That's
good.
real.
But I'm telling you, that's probably what's going to be.
Well, that's
like
good,
because
then that gives more entrepreneur outlets, baby. Because that's what I'm about. And so that was my thing. I did not like, you know, that he did not say, like, you talk about, to work for America. You want to just continue to create slaves. How about the history teachers? How about you teach them, have them switch over to things that is going to help them be more autonomous, like how to garden, like home ec needs to come back, like, you know what I'm saying, or like how to deal with your finances, debt, or you know what I'm saying, how to, you know what I'm saying, find something that's going to actually enrich a child to where they can live their lives independently of needing help from this system.
Because you have 2 classes that you teach like that. Get back to the kids. My friend, my really good, one of my sisters and her husband, they both are about to have individual class. I believe it's through Ohio Rise, don't quote me, but they do a lot of community things for the kids. And he's about to start a class where he's going to teach them how to like change your battery, and, you know, like different men stuff, like how to check electric socket, you know, like the fuse box, or, you know, like different little stuff that men should know, like how to be a man, how to talk, how to, you know, interviewing and things of that sort. So it's cool that, you know, we as a people, we should police our own communities, and we should be teaching our kids. Like when you go to the Jewish communities, the Jewish people are teaching their kids. Like you go to these Asian communities, the Asian people they have the Asian schools, and they're teaching their kids. Like if you look at Japan and China, these kids is learning some crazy stuff. They're learning self-defense. They're learning how to build a car. They're learning how to, like,
all that stuff.
It's insane. And then we so far behind. They come to our country and they be like, y'all don't know how to do that. Y'all don't know how to do that.
Right.
We learned that. We was 6.
Right.
Exactly. We know how to do that. Like nothing.
Like, the United States is the lowest. We're the lowest ever. I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
Well, the education system is jacked up. I can say that, and you are absolutely
even
right.
The cafeterias, like the food that they're serving our kids, they're not even nutritionally helping these kids. Like sometimes my kids don't eat. They like, Mom, it was trash. Like I be feeling bad, you know, that my kids have to go so long and not eating, but I can't. You know, I can only do so much because I want them to take advantage of what the school provides. But if I gotta start making them lunches, that's what I'm gonna do because I want to make sure my kids is eating. But if you go to Italy Brazil, like they can have fresh fruits and vegetables that they're feeding these kids so they actually can be productive in class. Y'all giving these kids all these processed foods and sugary sweets and shit. Then you wonder why they can't sit still.
Right.
Then you want to call us like they're the problem when y'all are kind of the problem. So
yeah, but you got that.
Then I saw this post. I apologize. I just saw this post how it says churches are for mothers. No, churches control the mothers, schools control the kids, and prisons control the fathers.
Wow.
That's about right.
Wow.
It's so deep when you see it though. You know, like it's something that we don't think about. Like that's heavy to me. Like because we already know the schools is made to prepare you for prison. That's all school is.
I think that the bad side of allowing for the state to do stuff is that now it's okay. So there's pros and cons to it, right? Because you're more proximity to being able to fight and go to a space where capital Columbus for us in Ohio. And be like, hey, what are y'all doing? Like, why is this happening in this fashion as far as the curriculum you're giving our kids, as far as the food or whatever like that? But then you have other states where the governors is radical and just out of control, and they're just doing anything. And that's the part that's a little bit like, I don't know, because there should be, if anything, there should be a federal. It should be set up to where if, let's say, the state isn't doing something right, that the citizens can report to the federal people and be like, hey, they tripping over here, and then the federal government can be able to enforce some things. Yeah. Like, I think that's where I would hope to see happens. But you were talking about the food and just remind me of how you got the private schools though. Man, have you ever been to their cafeterias? Yeah. I'm talking about these kids got all types of options, just like a whole buffet. Oh, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So what does that do for the but the public schools is
too.
You know what I'm saying? But the public schools is jacked up.
Public schools, but the same type. If you go to the suburbs, you get into a different tax bracket. They getting the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, you feel me? They got pools and they shit. They get racket clubs. They got everything. You feel me?
Yeah, man. I say they built a whole new field over there by Maple Heights. But that school thing is crazy. Also, my friend, she was telling me, you know, like at the school, like these kids, they can just go buy Chipotle, and then you just get a bill in the mail.
Well, see, and I have a friend.
You get like $70-$80 bill for Chipotle. I'm like, why are y'all even letting kids do that? That's so crazy. They should be given a stipend or like a limit that you're like a prepaid card. Like your parents, you can prepay on this account. And you use the spending limit up.
Shit, you had cash. We used to have cash. All right, goddamn it. We used to leave school and go to Case Western Reserve.
Right across the street.
And get Burger King and all types of shit. Subway.
Oh my God.
And we paid with money like everybody
everything.
else. What the fuck is wrong with these kids?
They got no damn
money.
No, they don't.
Shit. Broke ass kids.
Let me get a bill in the mail. That's crazy.
My kid better not be ordering no goddamn Chipotle. No, my daughter, she do the fuck she want to do.
Hey, for real though, because when we were in high school, my little crew, my little clique, one of us had a car. One of us had a car, and that's all it took. We was like every lunch, like outside, we all piled up in that little car, and we was kicking it. We was going somewhere to find something to eat. Yeah. But yeah, I a part of me just feels like the onus definitely has to be on parents. Like we have to get back to the family structure of making sure that our kids are good. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that sounds good, and I agree with you. But it's so many women out here, single mothers with multiple children, multiple jobs, who will not have the time to do that. And that's why the government assistance and the help from the government was something that a lot of our single mothers, as well as not just black, white, whatever, you know, depended on, because it was a way to give them some relief from everything that they're doing. Because now, if they cut welfare and all this type of shit, then what the fuck? That means people are going to start working even harder, working even more. That means less time with their children, less time they're going to be able to teach their children and spend time with their kids, things of that nature. You know, I feel like a lot of times, when it comes when children do look back and they try to blame their parents for shit, like, well, you wasn't around. getting paid. Like, nigga, I was working 3-4 jobs a day. What you mean? I had to keep a roof over your head and clothes on your back. Like, you didn't understand. You don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just. But once again, in my opinion, we're going to see how this plays out. But I don't look at it as being I don't think it's going to play out positive for the black community. I think it's going to play out a lot worse for us than any other community.
I think that it will, if anything, make us, because the one thing about black people is, in the midst of trial and tribulation, we can pull together. You know what I'm saying? And we can just look at that when just recently, what was that? Everybody's lights was out. You know what I'm saying? Very recently, where we had that storm. You know what I'm saying? And so people had businesses. You know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, come eat here, come charge your phone, come. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We got you. You know what I'm saying? Like we can pull together as some people and help each other, and that's what we need, because we so separated. Like, you know what I'm saying? As black people, we are the only race. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you was talking about Jewish people and other, you know what I'm saying? It's like black people, we're the only race that we find it hard to unite because of by design, the separation of families, you know what I'm saying, with us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like it's going to bring us back together in the space where we're willing to help each other more. You know what I'm saying? Because we know, you know what I'm saying, you struggling with this. And I can just speak for myself and say I've been doing this for years now, where I'm trying to teach these women, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, this is how you raise your kid. You know what I'm saying? This is, you have to have conversations with them. You can't be so angry. You know what I'm saying? You have to make them feel like they can come to you and talk about stuff, because they're dealing with a lot of stuff, you know? And so, I don't know, again, you know, I'm more on the optimistic side. I'm looking more for things positive to happen, because it's been so negative for so long.
Right, but I know you can only be optimistic because of who's about to be in office. So once again, shit sound good, but just like he was in office before saying he was going to do a bunch of shit, he didn't do none of that shit. Only maybe one, everything he said he was going to get done, maybe 1 or 2 things got done. So what makes me think that this is going to be any different? Okay.
Well, the House and Senate is different.
They're all Republicans, so they're all yes men. So whatever he says is going to happen. That's how I look at it. So if he pushes something through, then yes, I would expect it to go straight through, because everybody in the Senate now is his peoples. So, like I said, we got the whole Project 2025 thing that, you know, they're talking about as well. It hasn't been talked about. I haven't heard too much about it since he's been elected. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But I don't see it going. I don't see them not touching it. Okay.
Well, he vehemently denied that mess. So we definitely see. I will say this, and because I have a friend that actually, she's black, but she teaches at Jewish school. Mm-hmm. So first of all, she like, hey, the way they operate is like a well-oiled machine. You know what I'm saying? And she's able to see that. She's like, I wish black people operated like this.
We can't.
But we need to. That's the thing. And I believe that this is going to force us into, if whatever this man presents, whatever number 47 presents, if it's you know what I'm saying, something, you know what I'm saying, that's going to breed the black community or to a disadvantage, I'm having faith that we will bind together and we will make some stuff right as a collective, as a whole, because that's where we need to be. We need to be that. We need to be right there, just like all of these other people who are, you know, doing what they need to do for their own individual communities and their own cultures. And, you know, I guess, I don't know, is Jewish a people or a religion? I always wondered that. Is that considered a people or a religion?
A people.
Oh, it's a people, right? Because they what is the name of it? Judaism?
Judaism.
Okay, yeah. So religion. Yeah, like their religion is Judaism. Yeah, so I'm believing that it's gonna make us come together. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I hope so.
I'm really hoping that.
And I've spoke to some Jewish people, and their way of thinking is totally different than ours.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, but we have to get back on it, and that's, you know, it starts with our kids. So we gotta start teaching our kids to be able to work with each other, because a lot of us are Some of us are too far gone.
Ain't no coming back.
Some of these brothers is too far gone, man. They just are. Some of them are so old and so ignorant, and they just don't want to learn. They just don't want to be educated because they feel like I'm too old to learn. Why I need to learn something new for? I know this all I know, and I'm good with this. So, and those are the individuals that you're not going to be able to work with because they're not going to. They don't have an open mind, and once again, education is very important. And we have a lot of young men who have dropped out and thought education wasn't important. So now they're older men who have no education. And unlike when we were young, and our grandparents, may have had no education, but they had trades. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my great grandfather or my grandfather might not have been able to read that good, but shit, that nigga brought home a check every week because he could go to work every week and work.
Whole house.
Right, that nigga could paint.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Carpenter.
That nigga plumber. You know what I'm saying? That nigga could do something with his hands.
Wash your car.
Right. But they took that shit out the schools. And they did that shit on purpose. So, anyways, I want to get back into another deep conversation. This was a great conversation though today, ladies. It really was. So, Miss New Day, where can they find you at?
I'm on Facebook, Asia Latrice, and Instagram, Miss New Day.
Instagram, Miss New Day. And where can they find the Big Doula?
Well, you can find me at Facebook at Risha Carlisle Clinton. Or you can find me on Instagram at Original Indigo Empress. It's a ghost town right now. I'm offline for a second.
She's off.
Yeah, I'm off for a hot second, effective 11/11. But I'll pop in every once in a while. I might pop in for my birthday next month. So if I can remember the password. But yeah, hopefully I ain't lose the whole joint. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, and you know me. Find me at Acquired Taste Media, and we appreciate the love. Make sure you guys click the link in the bio, like, subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment if you guys want us to talk about any topics about the election or speak on anything that has to do with relationships or women empowerment or men empowerment. Anything, any topic, as long as it's positive and productive, we're willing to talk about it. So make sure you guys click the link, subscribe. We appreciate the love. Peace.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome to the show, have a seat, my nigga, recline back. Real niggas making a speech, so acknowledge that I never turn